Hey everybody! Tell you what, now I'm seeing that. I don't much care for that. Let's get rid of that. Maybe that. It's actually better. Hold on, I'm gonna get some more light for what we're doing. Uh, just simply because, well, in looking at it, once I put it on, I think we need more. But it just so happens I have more. And then we're gonna get to cut eggs. Let's see how this bad boy does. Oh shit, that ain't good. You know what? This is why Kurt does all the lighting. Because I don't really know what I'm doing. Maybe I bounced off the ceiling. No. Nothing works. So what we're going to do is just put that there. Put this here. We're going to set this up. We're going to be seeing eggs anyway. So it ain't going to matter, right? So, alright guys. Here's the thing. Maybe that'll be better. Hey, a little bit. Looks like as long as I do it that way, we're good. So we're going to be cutting some eggs today. This is clutch number 4. So this is a huge, huge clutch. As you can see, nothing has actually pipped. I know I usually say I like to cut these as they pip, but here's the thing. This weekend we have one of our Patreon members down. I'm going to be really busy with that, which is a good thing. I'm going to give you a little hand sanitizer first. And I'm going to sanitize my scissors. And I don't figure they want to sit here for 2 hours while I film a cutting and then go to Patreon and do all of that. It's a long time. I got a lot of stuff to do. These are due to hatch anytime. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them now since they're going to be here this weekend, which is you, JoJo. You're coming down. These are setting at, I want to say day 55. So they should be due June 14th was the day that they were first laid. So if you do the math really quick from the 14th to now being the 6th, they're long enough. Long enough, right? Because you have a whole month, half a month, plus about a week. So yeah, that's like a month and 3 weeks, which is, 30 plus about 15, 45. Wait a minute. Let's do that math again. I know I've done it 3 times. So they're good to go. So yeah, June 14th, so July 14th would have been about 30 days. You have 45 by the end, 50. So yeah. So that's what we're going to do. You catch your scaleless clutch, 4 eggs. These will not be full scaleless. Best we can hope for in this pairing would be a Killer Blast scaleless head. So that's what we're going to be looking for. All right, guys. We're going to get to cut and then we'll talk for a few minutes. Of course, if I don't like what I see, 7 times 7. What's 7 times 7? There's actually, let's see here. Oh, that would be the 49. Yeah, but if you actually add the days, it actually ends up being longer than that. It was like, because it's not truly 7 weeks. It's like, end up being like 53, 54 days to today. Counting today as a day and counting the 14th as a day. So I wouldn't cut it day 49. That'd be too early. They'd be able to set through the weekend. I mean, I was expecting to pip anytime. So I want to say it's day 54. So that's kind of where we're at. I counted it like 4 times. Anyway, let's go. I actually counted on the calendar since one time I screwed it up. These are nice full eggs. They are starting to dimple in a few places, which is to be expected. So we're going to start with this guy who's standing up. So it's going to take. Oh, missed actual dates. These were laid June 14th. June 14th. That was our lay date. For those of you on Patreon, we go over there. I have some eggs to pull. Oh yeah, they're ready. They're ready. So, I'm not going to cut huge holes in these. You guys know how I roll. Let me bring you over here where hopefully you can kind of see that. So what I'm seeing in there definitely appears to be at least a pinstripe. Some movement. As much color as I'm seeing, I think it's probably going to be a pinstripe. Now I cannot see if it's a scaleless head or not without a good clear image of the head. That's going to be nearly impossible to tell. And I'm not going to cut the entire tops off the eggs. You guys know why we do this. It's not for that. The albino did lay, and for those of you on Patreon, you're going to hear how that came out. Because we've had the theory that, and I haven't checked it yet, to be honest, so I don't know, she had a lot of slugs. And yeah, but you're not counting the days I count, because I would count today as a day. I would count the day they were laid as a day. So that's where we're getting 54. So 52, not counting the 14th and not counting the 6th. So you'll get to see if that is going to be like a cancer issue and there's a bunch of slugs and we have one side that's burned out on her, or if she had a healthy clutch, because the last 2 years she's been pretty slug heavy. So we're going to cut this one over here. Good little nick. Day 52 isn't bad to cut on. I mean, it's a little early. I've done it many times without any issue early on in my career. Then I kind of always moved it back. Typically, I'd wait about 4 more days, but typically they pip on their own before then. So that's why I want to go ahead and do it now. Oh, you're cool. So I do think that, now, a lot of people always will see a lot of spinner and stuff early, but there's no spider in this pairing. So that looks almost spinner-esque, but it shouldn't be spinner. But I'm going to bet with all that busy, we obviously have pinstripe in there. And I bet we have the super pastel. The head is right there, but obviously I cannot see the nose. Like I can just see the front. Oh, a little tongue flick there. I can't see the top of the head to see if there's actually scaleless head in that. But that's got scaleless, so that's going to be a really good egg for us, right? Now these are going to be juicy. I'm going to warn you now. These are some juicy eggs, so be prepared for juicy, juicy, juicy. Oh, juicy. I hate when that happens. Oh, albumin everywhere. Well, never mind. I thought we were going to have a normal here, but we are not. That thing is definitely got pastel and as blushed as it is. Oh yeah, that looks like to be a regular pastel. And again, I haven't seen a head yet to know if we hit scaleless head, but you would expect about half these babies to be scaleless head. Sorry for the noise. I knocked my hook on the floor. So just so you can see another juicy egg. Juicy, juicy, juicy. How's the view of the back of my hand? Sorry about that, guys, but trying to use my hands to cut properly, and, well, I'll get you a good view in just a second. Till then, you can see if I got any clogged follicles back there or anything. So this one here, that looks pretty dark too. It definitely got pin in it. Oh, looking at the front of that nose, though, we might have a Lemonblast there, actually. I think we do. I know you can't see what I'm seeing, but it's very, very blushed. So Lemonblast is certainly a possibility on there. We'll know when it comes out. And looking at that nose, there's not enough of it to see for me to call scaleless head or not. And sometimes it's hard to see, too, with the nose in the albumin like that, right? So it's just one of those things you got to almost wait on unless the head's setting in just the right spot. And so far, we have not seen that. But everything has appeared to be alive. Now that spot on the egg, in case you guys are wondering why it looks a little funny there, that was a spot where it was attached to another egg, and it almost looks scarred. That's where we pulled it apart. But no damage was done. They just look funny at those areas. It's a natural adhesive. I believe it's on there to help the mom keep them coiled up, and also to help keep the eggs in the same position. So far, oh, that one's hard to say. You're moving a lot, though, buddy. That one might be our first normal. Could be a pastel. We'll know more when it comes out. Again, it could be a scaleless head, too. But I do think this snake here is our best shot at hitting all the odds. I wish I could see its nose, but I ain't going to force it. So yeah, delete Morph Market off your phone. You know, there's a way to block those kind of websites, you know. All right, here goes nothing. So far, I've been really happy with this clutch. I mean, obviously, Scaleless hit something we really want to hit. And I don't know if we've hit that very much or not. Probably won't until they start crawling out. But we seem to be hitting pretty good odds on a lot of other things. And that appears to be Pastel. And that thing's a wiggly in there. They all appear to be nice, large, healthy. Which spot on my hand? Oh, whatever you're talking about. Oh, you're seeing a lot of my hand. Let me try it this way. Maybe I can try to give you guys a little bit better view if I do something else with the camera here really fast. I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to sacrifice my work angle just for view, because honestly, the most important thing to me at this point is not your view. It's what I'm doing. But if I can do both successfully, I certainly will try to do that for you. This might be a little bit better because I can at least see what I'm showing you versus not see. You mentioned the next special. There's always a good chance some of these end up on special. And this egg feels a little dry, which is always concerning, but the baby looks decent in there. Oh, I think I just got some movement. We are definitely upside down. Oh yeah, we're fine. So far so good. He'll have to turn around to get himself out of there. Of making it to a special. We tell you guys when they are. Like, they're announced, and I'm always either right on. I mean, I don't ever start them early or anything. If anything, I'm a few minutes late. I usually give about a 15-minute grace period, even or so, for people to show up. So if you ain't making it to a special, man, ain't nobody to blame but yourself. Okay. That one's doing good. That's got looks like probably Lemonblast in it. So far, oh, you work at 8. All right, you know what? Maybe remind me when I make the next note. Maybe we can try to do one. If we can do one on a weekend, on like a Saturday or Sunday, then I can probably try to change the time, because it would be fair to kind of change up the times for people. You know, I get that, and that is a valid point. Man, I remember when days we'd have like 120 people on here, but YouTube doesn't like me anymore, so nobody gets notifications. Or it just pissed people off. Yeah, probably a little bit of both. Okay, so let's hope this one's alive. This is a small egg, pretty tight egg. And looks, oh yeah, it's alive. And that one looks like I would bet money as a Scaleless head. And probably a very nice example of it. Probably a Scaleless head Lemonblast. So that's cool. Working from home is, I guess, counts as working, because what you're doing. I mean, am I not kind of working from home at this moment in time? Let's be honest. I mean, this ain't like it's across the street. Okay, this one you may just have to suffer through a little bit of bad view, guys, because there's no way for me to get to it otherwise. So sorry. Stuck my finger in the albumin. Yucky. About the only time I'm quiet when I'm cutting eggs, huh? Oh, man. Can't get a grip on it. It's just too slick. Okay, let me give that one a little poke. I really can't. Okay, I think we got movement there. It's way down in there, so it's kind of hard to see, but I do think we got it. One more. Let's go out with the bang. I'll move you guys here so you can see something better. So what we're going to hope for on this one is, of course, the clean my albumin off the hand here. a super or a killer blast scaleless head, right? Last one, clippy time. Yeah, no. About the best I can do. Sorry, probably blocking view again. When you have 11 eggs in a tub, it's kind of what happens, man. Woo. Hey, look at that. I like to go out with the bang. It's almost like I know what's going on. So there's so much pattern there that's messed up. Oh no, though. I'm a little concerned about this one. Oh, look at that. I am going to open this up just a little bit more. I think, uh, I think we got it to move, but it felt very, very stiff. So I am going to cut that open just a little bit more and kind of see, make sure everything's going okay in there. And if it's not, see what I need to do. And if it's something I can't fix, then well, that would be a real bummer. All right, so I'm going to remove just a little bit more of this one. So these babies are nice and big. Concern on this one is actually, at this point, not if it's alive, but I want to make sure it can have an exit. I do think it's alive, but it feels like it's rather tight in there. Okay, let me show you guys what I'm seeing. There we are. So, I wasn't getting much reaction. See that? That's what gave me cause for concern. There's no odor or anything, you know, but if I come down here, I touch down here, see that? We are getting reaction. So I do think this baby is alive in there. So let me make sure I'm not seeing just the scissors moving it. So we are going to open just a little more. Now I know this looks like a mess, but see, I can still fold that closed, which is something I like to be able to do. Oh. Okay. That's me pulling on the egg. They're making comments right now. I just want you to know I can't see them, so. Oh, see that flick? So that's obvious. Okay. We are definitely good on that thing. As far as being alive goes. But I am concerned. Just by the way it's in there. I want it to be able to have an exit, so I'm actually going to open this up a little further than I normally would. I have some slight concerns. We might have some kinking in that baby. See how twisted it is in there? Or that we could have a twist in there that's going to cause it to be problematic. But I can't see it. So what I'm not going to do, and this is kind of where it comes down to a little personal choice, you know, and a little bit of what we think is going on. So the baby's alive. That's the first point of good news. That where it's not in the light. I'll kind of sit down and I'll explain. Let me look again here in just a second and I'll tell you exactly what's going on. Let me kill that one. That light will probably cause us some issues. Boop. Nope. Man, I just can't get that to be good. Nope. No matter what I do, it's going to be kind of a problem today. So, the baby just felt... Why are you... Man, weird. I never had that much lighting problem. I feel like it's washed out. Baby just felt very stiff when we touched it. And so the concern is, you know, is there something going on? Anna and the family, I did not hear what happened, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed whatever it was going on. Is it this thing bouncing off? No, maybe that thing up there would fix the washout. Maybe that's bothering me. Anyway, so that's why I opened up more. So I wanted to see what was going on. Now I really can't see, and I am going to take a look with the flashlight. See, that'll really bleed it out here in just a second, and see if I can make sure if I can see anything. If not, I'm just going to put it back in. So the baby's alive. The baby is reacting. Is there a chance something's going on with that baby? Sure. Is there a chance it's just my worry and the way it was laying in there? Sure. Could be a really big baby, just kind of tight on the sides. These were all really well developed. Definitely ready to come out of here. So it's not an issue with cutting early. If anything, this is an instance where cutting early, we may be able to help that baby. I also made it a very large exit. Its head is down, so it may have a hard time if it gets twisted up. My concern is if it's twisting the umbilicus, then what are we going to do? Well, we have a few options with that. One thing we could do is we'll use a fancy tool like this. So what was a beautiful baby? This one's doing okay. Don't be sad for this one yet unless I missed something. So what we would do is we could pull that thing out of there. Worst case scenario. This is absolutely worst case scenario. And make sure it's untwisted. And if we had to cut that umbilicus to do that, to save it, we would do so. But we would clamp it. Right? Cut it. As long as we could. And then we could tie it, or we could suture it, or we could do whatever and go from there. So that would be what we would end up having to do. You know, or we could just untwist it, put it back in, and see if it absorbs. Woo, that's also possible. How long till they crawl out? Well, I mean, that could be any time. So let me move this box down here so I can tell you guys kind of what I see. I don't want to shake it too much, so bear with me. So, of course, this was the egg in question. You can tell it's the one I cut out the most. But I also don't want to disturb it too much because I don't want it to force out the egg. So we're going to take a quick peek at all of these and call it good. Right now I know I have 11 alive babies. What more could you ask for? That one's definitely scaleless head. I'd be really surprised if it wasn't. That one probably is too. That was the first one we cut, I believe. Everything's looking really good. I mean, other than that one making me a little nervous, but we're going to put it back up and we're going to see what it does. I do think we probably had one possible normal. We'll see when it comes out. Our next clutch we'll be cutting is 4 days behind this one, but I'll probably like to be able to wait till it pips on its own. And what that will be is going to be some exanthic clutches. So that'll be good. You know what else too? Something else. So I'm going to show you something else we're doing now. I'll tell you why. Again, this is one of those live and learn moments. So I like to use Q-tips or other things. It doesn't really matter what it is to prop up my eggs, right? So one thing we're going to start doing is these things will look terrible when you take them out because they'll burn all kinds of goo from the water. But once we start to cut the eggs, or once we're done cutting the eggs, babies are alive, I mean everything else, we're going to remove these. The reason being is, well, them by themselves aren't dangerous. I found one in a baby tub, and the shocker on that is it wasn't in there when I put the snake in. At least not that I saw. So what that means is that baby crawled over and ate that. Now, I don't know if that'd be a problem or not, but don't know if it's ever been a problem for us because we've used Q-tips for years and we've had a pretty good hatch rate. But the fact that one of them I know did that tells me that I probably don't want to do that sort of thing, right? I don't want to leave those in. So we're just going to pull those out. Okay, that was weird. We're just going to pull those out every time to just make sure we don't have any issues with that. So that's kind of the thing. I told you guys that I always share changes with you when we make them. That's the change. So we made it. All right, I'm going to put these eggs back in the incubator. Then I'm going to hop off here and slide over to Patreon for a little while and talk to them while I pull some eggs. Hopefully a big clutch of eggs. Big clutch. I feel a little nervous about that. But our handy dandy flashlight's going to tell us if we did well. All right, before I go, if you got anything you want to add, now's the time to do it. Of course, we're going to keep the same rule we've had for a little while. We're at 27 minutes now almost. We will stay on longer for super chats once we're done with whatever we're talking about, and that will keep us going for just a little while, up to 30 minutes, or not 30 minutes, up to a total of an hour. But it just got to have super chats roll in. So we stay on for about $1 a minute, talk about whatever you want to talk about, reptile related. Answer any questions you guys have. If not, then we'll end up hopping off here because you know what? We've got a lot of shit to still do today. I've got to pull these other eggs. I got a tub or two to clean, and I got people showing up tomorrow. So the clutch turned out really good, Caleb. All 11 babies are alive. One of them's got me a little nervous, but everything else looks great. I think they'll all end up being fine. They're all definitely alive, so it's looking good. Is it just for you, or is everybody else having a hard time hearing me too? So you said if you got to redo your Patreon, the different selection. Come on back, Abigail. We don't want to lose you for very long, so you can certainly do that. It should also let you upgrade or downgrade levels too during it. So you know you don't have to cancel if you ever want to change. You can be able to move so you don't miss anything at all. I do think we. I don't know on the scaleless head. There's one I'm pretty certain I can see enough of the head that I think is scaleless head for sure. Obviously, at 11 eggs, I expect more than one. You just can't really see their heads. So, you know, that's going to be kind of the holdup. But we'll know more when they start to crawl out. And this will be, I don't know, is this the last scaleless head clutch this year? Let me look. I think it might. No, there's a possibility of one more if she goes. So I don't know if she'll go or not, though. But yeah, certainly come on back. Those of you that don't know, Patreon's where we do a lot of other sales, a lot of our other stuff, a lot of fun things. But if you're not there, come join us because the community alone is worth it more so than I am. Also, before I go, I want to know what you guys think of the video. If you've watched it, if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch. I know it's really long. You can skip through parts of me running my mouth if you want. Yeah, it can go up and down during the month, kind of if it needs. I know some months are different than others. Thank you, David. I have not sold the Darkness babies yet, but they will be coming available pretty soon. We're going to start, hopefully this month, as soon as I can get time, start posting a lot of, yeah, you can get Weekends with the Reptile. So that's what somebody's doing this weekend. JoJo will be down here. The 19 babies, trying to push them out. That will not be specials as we got the 20 babies obviously coming. So that's what's going to be happening. So yes. You know, maybe, and the reason I say maybe is there's not a lot of vets around here that work with this specifically, and literally my vet will, I mean, if I need something, I just tell her where I need a wine, she's going to give it to me, and the last time she needed to go do a talk on reptile care, she called me and asked me to go with her. So that's one of the things. Thank you, Abigail. But we do have some specialty places, but they're teachers, so I don't know like if that's something they'd be willing to do or not, and I don't know how to get that ball started because we have a teaching hospital here, our teaching veterinary hospital that works on everything. I mean, obviously mainly it's livestock, We're right in the animal science corridor for the nation. I mean, you name it, animal science wise, Manhattan, Kansas is a hub for it. And that may sound like, oh yeah, sure, you're tooting your own horn, but as you know, people who've been here can tell you, like Anthony can tell you, I drove him by the facility that's replacing Plum Island, New York. It's now located here in Manhattan, Kansas. It's about to start being up and running. So all the research, all the drugs and things will be here. So it's pretty awesome as far as that goes. Yeah, it's just, so those folks are here. Some of them will not probably do a lot because that level facility, they probably can't do a lot of talking about things. The vet teaching hospitals works on reptiles, it works on lions, tigers, bears, oh my, but a lot of livestock. Obviously, they could do whatever they wanted, but I don't know if they're going to talk with a YouTuber on that. So thank you, Chad Jones. That'll keep me here for till I think at least 36 minutes. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that, David, earlier on yours. But yes, the Darkness Phase will be coming for sale soon. It'll probably either be this month or October when we release those, or September. We're in August now. Sorry, I was way ahead. So I want to get everything pushed out hopefully by the end of October, so I can get it pushed out during good shipping weather and get that shit out of here, so I can make room for the new stuff that's going to be hatching all through. Because I'll tell you what, man, you guys are still on egg cutting. These are going to be happening very, very, very frequently. Do I want your ghost right now, Chad? I'd have to look again, but we're just not at the point of purchasing right now. We literally need to do some selling before we can do some purchasing. This year has been a lot of equipment upgrades and some house upgrades and getting some things running right and doing some things like that. So that's where our finances have kind of been. And there is certain list of snakes we're looking for to add. This year, the thing we're really looking for is a clown combo male. That's what we really need to sell. Oh, not for sale? Are you just getting rid of a ghost? If you're getting rid of a ghost, man, Chad, certainly hit me up. That would be something we'd be interested in. Obviously, especially they're females. I love ghost. I do think the ghost gene is underappreciated, but starting to kind of come back, you know. What I was going to ask, though, too, what genes I wrote the bumblebee male? Man, you need to put calico in there, Austin. Calico. Get something with calico in it. Calico pin would be really awesome. Pastel calico would be, put that in there. I wonder what you guys saw the short tail python video with Matt O'Malley from O'Malley's Morphs. I really enjoyed that visit with him. That guy is a hell of a guy. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. Go check out his page. Shoot that guy a like. Check out his YouTube. He also, it's kind of funny, he doesn't even do it for the money. I saw a fly, try to kill it. He puts a lot of music in there and things like that. So, you know, check him out. He is awesome. He is awesome. But what do you guys think of seeing the short tails? Was there a lot of people like, whoa, blown away by some of that like I was? Because for me, that really was going to school. I learned so much in that visit. The orange heads were just phenomenal. I loved every minute of it. Plus, he was down to earth, really similar to me. Chad, the best way to reach me is somewhere we have our phone number posted. I don't remember where it's at. For the Reptile House post out, I do check that phone once a week. Messages are very hard. My Facebook gets so full I can't possibly track it. Even if you join Patreon, their messaging system kind of sucks. But all of Patreon has the Reptile phone number, and it also gets my personal cell phone. So that's there. Oh, Kat, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's going to keep us on here till 46 minutes now. 46. Yeah, Facebook's really hard to get a hold of me, guys, because that inbox is so crowded. Man, y'all got to remember, I work a 9 to 5 still. So, like, I mean, I do 40 hours, and I come home and I do this, and then I go to bed, and I wake up, start all over again. So, where are your snakes posted for sale? So we only post them on, as far as always been selling calico right now, I don't, but Morph Market may have some adults for you. Not at 800 grams, I don't know anybody. We post all of them on Patreon first, and nothing this year has made it past that point. So kind of our rule of thumb that we like to do is I'll post on Patreon. Oh, yeah, it could probably be found on Facebook. You're right. That'll probably be a good spot to find it, Jimmy. And just, you can text me, and I do check the text messages on that phone. Not daily, but I do check them. The best way, what was I getting back to? Find my animals for sale. Yeah. So we put them on Patreon. They typically sell there. If they don't sell there and I have enough left over, we'll look to do a show. I like doing shows. They're really fun. All right, Anthony, we'll catch you later. Thanks for coming to visit me, by the way. And you guys watch for his cage video coming soon, because it will be out very soon. And but back to that. So then we'll go to show. If we have past shows, then we'll put them online. But I don't typically use Morph Market or anything like that. It's not a knock on Morph Market. It's just I haven't really had the need to do so. So there's that. Tell you what, guys, since we're gonna be on here for another 10 minutes, y'all are gonna have to give me just 2 seconds. Actually, you can come with me. How about that? Come with me. We're going to take a little trip. I'll show you how tedious this was, maybe. Go forward. Oh, there we go. And we're going to go from light to dark. I promise. Open the door here. My hands are full. We're going to put these back in to keep them warm. Why not Freedom Breeder ARS racks? There's nothing wrong with Freedom Breeder ARS. But for me, look how full this thing is. Oh. So today's eggs will either go in that little spot up there, or they're going to go down here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find out. Because I think if she did good, she's going to need a big tub. I'm hoping the big tub fits there. Yeah, it does. Now I know which one's cut. So we'll have just enough room. Woo! For another one. Somebody here, too, is going to shed any day now. Check her out. Miss Lilith. So why not ARS or Freedom Breeder? There's nothing I have against them, like, at all. You know what? I wonder if it's because of where my grippy is. If that's causing me problems. Maybe it's blocking a light sensor or something like shit. But I think I could try and adjust it up there. Nope, not that. Okay, well I tried. It's just, I remember when I first started, for me, buying racks, I look at those rack companies, you know, and they were only selling like these big walls of racks. Like you have to buy something that size to get started, you know. And the cost was daunting. It was very, very, very daunting, you know. And I remember thinking, man, there's no way. Like, so I'm using this homemade stuff that I was getting, and like all these things I was trying to get to use, and nothing worked really well. It was kind of, I mean, you know, the same way a lot of us start. Nothing wrong with that. And then TGR approached me when they first started, and you know, I'm not going to get into everything that happened there. You know, obviously, not my company, so I don't have any control over that. But with the racks they were building, and they were the first time that I could literally afford a professionally made rack, and the difference in what I was doing was night and day. And I could keep adding a piece at a time, and I felt like I would eventually get to my goal, and I could grow, and I could build this really nice reptile room without ever having to have, you know, this big amount of money to invest. I could do it a piece at a time, save money in the long run. Plus, I felt like I could get it kind of custom fit. Like, I didn't have to buy a huge thing, so if I needed one more there, I could get it. I could kind of grow what I needed as I went. And man, I just thought that was great, you know. And then, of course, DGR had some issues on the first series with the way I do things. They did listen to customers. Series 2 came out, and they were phenomenal. We filled in the entire reptile room with Series 2. We had the sponsorship going, things of that nature. And then the Series 3 came out. We got our hands on one of those. And again, things were going good. Unfortunately, you know, it crumbled, and the market had this hole in it. And then, you know, you were going to be looking at metal racks. I was thinking I ran to go to metal racks. And then, of course, Pride of Texas Rack Systems came in and filled that. They filled that gap and made something very similar, but improved on everything that they didn't like. So they sit there, and they were using the same TGR racks I was, and went through and improved everything. And kind of the same thing, though. You can build your reptile room as exactly how you want it, a piece at a time, and everything else. And kind of filled that niche. So that's why our sponsorship is back there, why I believe in that type of rack system. I also can tell you they're much lighter to move, should you ever need to move them. And here we are, you know. So I will always advocate for that, because I do feel like those type of systems are much more achievable for a person starting out, Pride of Louisiana, yeah, than having to go buy a huge Freedom Breeder ARS. And I probably won't convert. I mean, I would convert only if I had to. Like, if I couldn't get this anymore and I was stuck with no other option, then maybe. But otherwise, I can't find any compelling reason to change. I mean, they're going to cost me more money, and I don't feel like I can do as much with them, honestly. So that's kind of why I do what I do. Why I pick these, and I like them. I like how light they are. I like how easy they are. They're all these new Pride of Texas ones. They all have a back on them. They're solid. The wires aren't hanging out. It's going to make them a rodent gets out. Very hard for them to chew. You don't even have that in the metal racks, man. The metal racks aren't solid in the back. They're solid sided, which actually I really like now that I have it. They're solid. Like there's no wiggle side to side to speak of. I mean, they're going to clamp together kind of the same way TGR does, but I'll do it on the tops. You don't see the clamps. They're just, there's nothing I can really complain about. Why would I change? It's more efficient. It's lighter. I like the heat systems. I can't think of any reason why I would go ARS maybe if you had a big preference for the ARS tub. But I personally feel that Freedom Breeder builds the best tub in the business. And, these are Freedom Breeder tubs. So that being said, too, if you're a big fan of Freedom Breeder, don't feel like you're screwing them over if you buy Pride of Texas, because he's buying all of his tubs from Freedom Breeder. So you do get a Freedom Breeder tub in there. So, they're still making money every time I buy a rack. Don't worry. They're not hurting. They're doing just fine. So even when you buy a Pride from them, I guarantee you a guy at Freedom Breeder is still smiling. So no concerns there. Probably not as big of a smile, but he's still there. A lesser female named Lil. We probably will do more. So, yes. She's your resident psycho. Our Lilith has been super sweet. Very, very sweet, but I don't trust her. I probably won't do the Viper Keeper thing and let her go out for walks in the house either. It's because there's a rock wall, there's gaps and places I don't want to pull her out of, So, yeah. I haven't checked ARS's prices, to be honest, but I think tub for tub, you're going to have a hard time beating Pride of Texas. I really think you will. It's just me, especially when you start adding in options. So, I think I missed your question for the second time. I'm sorry. What was your question, Catlin? I'm watching for it now. And a lot of the companies have gone, though, in all fairness, the metal ones to single stacks you can buy. But, again, the expandable foam is it for me. I've had to move them. They're easy. I don't know. There's nothing really. It's really hard to beat. Really hard to beat the expandable foam, which is the XPVC, for those who wonder what I'm talking about. I'm still looking for your question. I'm trying to look back for it. I saw you had a lesser female named Lilith. I saw you waiting for things to be shipped to you. So I don't know if I missed your question or not. But you can always repost it. Is anybody still hearing me? It kicked me off of here a few times ago. There we go. New video of Lilith for your daughter? Yeah, we'll get one out soon. I mean, maybe we will put her on the floor, see how she looks, and kind of have some people around, so let's see how she moves or something like that. I got to think of a good thing to do with her for a video. Maybe just an update video on growth, because she has grown. I don't know, but we'll certainly do something for her, yes. So, a mouthful of, ooh. Yeah, see, I've never had her strike directly at me. I've had her strike at water when I'm spraying water in, and she's trying to struck the water. But at me personally, she's never taken a shot. Now, she's hissed and she's made some noise and been pissy, but she's never had a go, which is good. I'll take that. I'll certainly take that. But, yeah. You put yours in the tub. That's a good working idea. I don't have a tub at this house. So the reptile house is tub free. We do have a stand-up shower. I mean, you can't clean yourself up here, but there is no actual tub. I mean, this place is truly a lake cabin. I mean, it's the best way to describe it. A lake cabin with a big-ass pool, but it's a lake cabin. So one of the Hulk eye in the tub. But yeah, it could work. I may also look at putting a bigger water dish in there for her. How do you test your snakes for COVID? Oh man, if a snake got COVID, don't even joke about that, because somewhere some politician's going to pick that up on one side or the other, and now we're going to have a thing. There'll be reptiles carrying COVID. Remember too, actually when it first got started, they did try to blame reptiles at one point for a snake at the market, and it was found out that it was bats, I do believe. Bats, yeah. The hog nose. Yeah, hots are not for everybody, and I mean, you got to be a little crazy to want to do it, I think, but I like it. It's a good part of my hobby. So, all right, guys, we're going to be done here in about 30 seconds. I'll put us at the 46-minute mark, which is, I think, what we were paid up to. And again, I do appreciate every part of that. It's very, very helpful for us. I mean, all of that doesn't go to my pocket. Like, I mean, we're not getting rich off doing this. One day we hope to replace our incomes and do this for a job, but we're a ways away still. But that's the hope. And then if we do that at some point, you'll see a lot more of this. You'll see a lot more of me traveling, going to shows that have animals to sell or not, and a lot larger collection. Hopefully, it will keep expanding until we get there. So we are certainly working on that. So, oh, your Timber's a female. I don't remember where she came out of, David, but if she's female, one thing you might consider. Oh, thank you, Chad. We'll stay around a little bit longer now. Is if you can go back to the area she came from, if she's wild, and swap her for a male. The reason I definitely prefer Tulsa, the reason I certainly prefer males in captivity is because wild timbers breed really, really slow. So females, I know when you got her, she was a little baby thing, if I remember correctly, because you got her with me. So, yeah. So I forgot about that. God, how do I forget these things? If you ever come back there, I might try to get you a male. Although she's been in captivity long enough now, it's probably too late to send her back. So, yeah. For a female, how big is she? Because they don't get as big. Oh, he said it was a female? We might double check that sometime. A big probe on them is the best way to check. Some people count these scales and it's kind of, it's like a 70-30 kind of thing. The thing with timbers is they breed very, very slow in the wild. And in certain places, not Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a very strong population. But, I mean, you did remember the both of us. These in Tulsa, I know exactly where it came from. They don't get hunted as much as a Western. So a Western's going to breed almost every year, man. They're going to produce large clutches. Once they have a foothold, oh, you did prober, so it did come out female. Okay, once the Western's a foothold, that you're not going to usually remove them from the area. But timbers that were eradicated almost completely on the East Coast. I don't think they stretch into Canada anymore. So they can certainly be eradicated. And a big difference in the two is the Westerns producing every year in a higher number of clutches, and which one's the Hulk? You have to tell me which one you're talking about, the Hulk. Whereas the timbers every about 3 years and a lower number of babies. So the reproduction rate is much, much slower. So, that is one thing with timbers. So you do have to be careful on how much we take from the wild on timbers conservation-wise. Not that taking a few isn't going to hurt. I mean, it's going to be fine. I took mine out of the wild. There's one I have. There's one that the zoo has that came out of the wild. So it's not an issue. I'm not saying people shouldn't do that. Oh, his Gaboon is Hulk. So, but it does certainly happen. And I definitely prefer males. Now, with Westerns, males, females, it doesn't really matter. So, how big has your Gaboon gotten now, David? Because I know mine grew like super fast. Like it just got huge really quick. And it's still growing, but it's not growing as fast as it was. I mean, that thing blew up. And then as soon as it sheds, I'm hoping to get it back on food. It should shed any day. Probably when you come down, Jojo, you'll have a fresh shed this weekend. That they might have at that one. And yes, they're they actually don't do that. they I know on the rest of them they go to somewhere else to be relocated, but not where they came from. So they get moved from a ranch, so they don't. Yeah. That's kind of what happens with a lot of those. But at least with the Westerns. Now, the timbers not being from that area that come in, it's a little bit different. I don't know exactly there. But I know the Westerns, I know the disposition of all that. And it's not always that. Usually it's not. It's a re-release for genetic seeding in places where they're wanted, which is kind of awesome if you think about it. So anyway. All right, guys, that puts us at the 50-minute mark. We'll go to about 51. I think that came in at 46, and I only owe you 4, but we're going to give you 5. And then we're going to hop off here and slide to Patreon. Again, I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Definitely check out. So you can. Those came from a show where they were going to be used for meat if they weren't used for something else. So some places will buy them for meat and skin. So they got bought for that instead. Yeah. So they came off of. Basically, they were saved from that. But I know some of that's not always the thing that happens. So ranches do try to get rid of them. And if they're not kept at a low number, then a lot of the ranchers will actually diesel fuel things and kill them that way with westerns, and to a lesser extent probably the timbers. So getting westerns off of problematic places into non-problematic places is very important. Oh, thank you, David. That'll keep us here till our top level, which is 60 minutes. After that, any more super chats that come in, I'll appreciate it, but it won't keep us for longer because this dude's got shit he got to do still. Like pull eggs on Patreon. Cheese and sprinkles. So yeah, that does happen, but a lot of that is changing. So changes come. They just come slow. They come by collaboration. They don't come by sides being here and here. They come by movement, and that's what's being worked on in a lot of places. Stop beeping, programming all day. So you try to clean your language. I try to clean mine sometimes, but I don't do a very good job, so the hell with it. I just quit trying. I will tell Patreon before I come back, I just drink like a bottle of water or something because I've been talking so much my throat gets dry. And then we'll prep some eggs together and pull some. And they're going to be from albino to toffino, so I hope you guys like more toffee. Oh, on your videos? I will tell you this. I do think that if you can say you don't cuss at least on there, then I think it might help YouTube push it. That's why I've kind of tried to not use the old F-bomb as much, you know. But yeah, it's hard to say. Arizona blacktails, as far as those go, you'd have to check on wild collection permits. I think you might be able to with the proper permitting. Otherwise, you know, it's all going to depend on where you live. Now, where you're at, I think it's pretty fast and loose on some of what you can do. So you're probably going to be good to go, but certainly just check on it. I know with us, I would be good to go with having to send some crap off. And that's kind of the thing I'd have to do. Get in, send crap off, and show that. And technically, I'm supposed to have a pair. Not one. One's bad. Pair's okay in my case by the way our state laws read. The way our state laws read is anything non-native I have to be doing for breed purposes for a few certain things. And so, like, that's why you'll see us add, like, a rhino or something down the road so we can try to breed gabinos. Now, I won't do a lot of that because I don't want to breed a ton of venomous. And I'm kind of one that if I'm going to try to be on the up and up fully, I have to do it that way, right? Good. I'm glad, Michaela. It was a really pretty one. And so we're really interested in our toffino clutches this year, too. The next thing I get will probably be a rhino, honestly. It's probably what we're going to work towards. Actually, I take that back. We're supposed to go pick up another Western, and after that will probably be a wino. So, a rhino. So Western, then a rhino, most likely. But the next new species would be a rhino. And that also does some other things. It keeps me in the Bitis family, and the Bitis family all having the same, multi-cocktail for treatment for bites. I don't have to have as much this, or things on hand to give instruction. It'll all fit in, you know, crowfab or the polyvalent for that species of African for the Bitis polyvalence. So that'll be kind of nice. It's not a Bitis polyvalent, it's like a West African polyvalent, but all the Bitises are typically covered in there from that area. By Bitis, we're talking species like a gaboon is a Bitis. So yeah, puff adder I do believe falls in the Bitis as well. You know, I tried, Patrick, but the wife said no. So we don't have any spiders. I'm not a big spider fan, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a tarantula, just one. But she kind of poo-pooed all over that. We have added a lizard. So we did add a, you know, I don't know if a lot of people know, but we had a panther chameleon for a while. It passed away at about 4 years old, I think, total. There was some stress that came about for different reasons. It's just a long story. And I really missed having it. I like chameleons. So in our shop, we had a cage for communities for sale, and there was this Jackson's in there. He's kind of getting picked on by the males because multiple owners were selling them out. So I went and bought him home, gave him a really nice thing. So, oh, the bite from the blood is 100% healed. You know, it's really no issues at all. So that's pretty common though. Would I get into cobras? Maybe. I never say never. I mean, I've worked cobras. I feel confident enough that if I could get the right kind of cobra and work it, but I don't feel a need to get a cobra. So if I got a cobra right now, I would just be getting a cobra to get a cobra, and I'm not going to do that. I know it's kind of the end thing to do, but it's not my cup of tea at the moment. Now the day may come where I round it more, or get interested more, decide to get a lapid, and then if I do, it probably would be a cobra. I probably wouldn't go mamba or anything, but and it wouldn't be a king. King is too big, but yeah, the chameleon by the arcade. Patrick, yeah, that was the panther. It did pass a while back, quite a while ago, and that is the one I'm talking about. But we added another one. So it was because of some, yeah. Anyway, the Jackson's is in there now. So hopefully he settles in nice and does well. We're not really doing much with him yet, other than just getting him set up to kind of get him to de-stress because he was getting picked on by a few other males. But yeah, we did lose our panther. I was really pissed. It's one of those things I didn't bring up because I was pissed about it. So, you know, yeah. Sweet, Brett. Now I did see Michaela did ask, oh, when my blood bit me, it drew blood. I was leaking like a sieve for a while. The Xanthic babies. So he did. Let me get that on there, back on tight. So let's look at some Xanthic babies, shall we? So let's see how they're all doing. You've got this one. Now there could be a feed in here. I'd have to take out one or two of these. It's possible because we do leave small meals in there for them to induce feeding when they want, and sometimes they, you know, pass away or they kill them and don't eat them. We have to pull them out down the road. So this is the smallest one. This one and the Xanthic or zebra bee were the smallest. So yes. Yeah, Patrick, we did post that on there, I believe. A straight up Xanthic male. And then this Xanthic Pastel here. So as you can see, they're all doing well. If you can remind me what clutch number, I can show you one. I don't remember what clutch number they were. I know on my computer here. Let's see here. I want to say, were they 20? It might have been 20. Or they were 21. Are they 21? It might have been 21. They were 21. This one's got a little bit of shed it needs to work on, but mostly looking pretty good. Then there's this one here, which looks like it could be needs to poop. But otherwise, they're doing pretty wonderful. Speaking of needing to poop, this is a little baby I had to do a lot of work on. You can see it just had a shed that had some impaction that we got cleared out. We may have to do some more. We'll see on it, but hopefully it does pretty well. So it was from clutch 20 and 21. So that was what it was, and yeah. All right, guys, we are at the 59-minute mark, so we'll take just a question or two, and then I gotta get off of here because those eggs will not pull themselves, right? I do love the Xanthic babies. We do have more of them on the way, so we'll be cutting Xanthics here probably in a week. So I do, Jesse. As a matter of fact, we're raising up this right here. How is Sobek doing? So Sobek's doing really good. This just shed too. Don't you pop me, girly. And pooped. I'll have to get that in a minute. Is a fire yellow belly 100% het SK Xanthic. This is her own production, and she just wasn't quite up to size this year, but you can see she's in an FB40, so it'll give you an idea. She's certainly getting there. She's making a mess of everything, eating well. We'll definitely be feeding her. I did have somebody ask how Sobek is doing, so I'm going to take a look at him really quick. I will tell you he does need more water. Maybe eventually, Brett, but right now I don't have sunset. And then I'm going to get off of here. But we will be putting some more water in this tank. Oh, Reaper's telling us all hi. Hi, Reapy. Of course, that's my timber. Good old Reaper. Yep, big old boy. And then, for those that missed it, Lilith. And now, to give you an idea of Lilith's size, that is about a 6 foot by 2 foot cage. So she's doing really good. Let's get a view of little Sobek here. There he is. You see he's got a lot of water. A big, large pond. He's going to get an upgraded Ken. So we're going to give him some more space here eventually. We've got to get time and funds and do the building project. So he is doing really good. Chad, you have to get the phone number off of Facebook to be the best way, or if somebody knows the reptile phone, they can post it here. We got it somewhere, All right, here we go, guys. We are going to hop off. Well, it's still going because somebody donated, man. And we're going to slide over to Patreon. We did an hour and 1 minute, so hopefully you guys you got your super chats worth. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time when we cut, which is going to come very, very soon. Lots of cuttings coming up because there's a lot of eggs laid in a row. So boom, 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 boom. Here we go. All right, good night. We'll see you next time. Go on to Patreon.